Good morning everyone. This is going to be a video on the topics within the chapter of costs of production, which I know is the one that you struggled with the most. So I apologise in advance for the length that this video is going to be, but hopefully it's going to clear up a few things. So when we speak about the cost of production, the first thing that we have to remember is that an increase in output is going to lead to an increase in our total costs for production. So in other words, if we want to produce more, it's going to cost us more. So those costs are then broken down into two main brackets. So we have fixed costs, which are costs that do not change. So we have here the likes of rent, rates, maintenance. So those costs are regardless of our output. We also have variable costs, which are costs that change in accordance with our output. So here we have raw materials and electricity. So our variable costs go up when our output goes up. So the likes of, for example, a pizzeria. So a pizza restaurant is going to use more pizza bases or more tomato sauce or more cheese if they're selling or producing more pizzas. So in terms of a graph, what do they look like? Well, our fixed costs is going to be a horizontal line, because when we go along here, our cost axis, it is fixed, it doesn't change, it remains constant. So we have our horizontal line there. Our variable cost is an upward sloping line. That is because as our quantity goes up, our cost also goes up. And then finally, our total cost. So our total cost is our fixed cost plus our variable cost. This is much steeper than our variable cost alone because it also incorporates fixed costs into it. So whenever we're asked to work out our total costs, we're adding together our fixed costs and our variable cost. Now, short and long run. So within the short run, if a firm wants to increase their production in the short run, they have no option but to increase their variable costs. So in most cases, land and capital are fixed. And the reason why they're fixed is because they're extremely expensive. It's quite expensive to buy property or to buy factories or build factories or buy machinery. So for most cases, in the short run at least, these two are normally fixed. But labour is variable. Why? Because it's quite easy to hire people or to increase the hours of people that are already hired. In the long run then, if a firm wants to increase their output, it can vary all the factors of production because it might have the finance to do it. So it can maybe hire more people, it can buy more machines, or it can expand its buildings or buy more premises. So that means, by those two definitions, that our long run and short run aren't strictly just talking about time periods. There's another element involved as well. So our definition for our short run is it's a period of time within which at least one factor of production is fixed in quantity. It could be land, it could be labour, it could be capital, but we know from here it's most likely to be land or capital. In the long run, okay, so what is it? The long run, it's a period of time that means that it's long enough for the quantities used of all the factors of production to be varied. So basically, a firm that exists in the long run means it has the ability to vary any of its factors of production, whether it's land, labour or capital. So why might that, is there any exceptions to that, or what might we consider? Well, the first thing that we have to consider is the industry. So if, for example, we look at an artist or somebody who makes souvenirs for tourists, well, they are in the short run they could vary their output or their input very, very quickly because they can adapt and customize things. Their supplies and raw materials are quite easy got, and they mightn't have to spend a lot of money in the start to actually create the business. Whereas if you look at large-scale factories that, for example, produce cars, they might be in this short run for several years because it costs so much money for the machinery to make the cars or to have premises big enough to produce the cars as well. So the industry definitely has an impact on whether that particular business is going to remain in the short run for a long time